Hello, word nerds! Happy Sunday! We are here. It is the start of the third week of April, which is the start of the third week of Camp NaNoWriMo, which is great. I am not doing great, but that's fine. Everything is fine. We're going to do some word sprints today, hopefully get lots of words down. If you've never joined us for a write-in before, welcome. We are so happy you're here. What we do is we set amounts of time, and then we write for that period of time, and then we check in afterwards, share our word counts, cheer each other on. You can ask any writing or bookish related questions in the discussion section if you want, and we try to answer them all on air. Thank you so much for waiting. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but I mean, what else is new?
At least not as bad as last week.
Yeah, hopefully not like last week where we had to start a whole new chat.
Pretty sure people are used to us and our constant technical difficulties.
Yeah, right.
So, technical shenanigans. I like that.
Oh, I like that.
Actually.
So what are you guys working on right now?
I am doing revisions as usual. Constant state of revisions.
Yay! I am part writing and part revising the first part of my fantasy fairy book because I decided that I want to change something, not huge, but enough that I need to kind of go through and rewrite the beginning of it. Just a tad though, so I'm gonna have to work on that today and integrate new stuff in.
This is still the Dark Fairies book,
yes.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Love it.
That's awesome.
I just started every time I read some Dark Fairy book where I'm like, that wasn't very good. I'm just take what I want and then just file it away. So fingers crossed that this one will be good.
I bet it will be.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, the encouragement is astounding.
Megan, what are you working on?
I am working on, well, I should be working on my ghost draft book. But I don't exactly know what's happening at all. And so I will probably work on the book that Kyra and I are writing together because we are almost done with that. And if I finish that, then I have to work on solo projects. There's no other option. So we'll see how it goes.
It's so hard when I'm stuck on something and I'm like, but I could just drift over here and do this other thing instead.
Well, sometimes that works.
It's true. If you're stuck, especially, I feel like that's not necessarily a bad thing to do. Unless you do it so consistently that you never finish anything.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a problem.
Well, I'm just very impressed that you, Megan, and Kyra can write a book together because I can hardly do group projects. So the fact that you guys are writing a full book together is very impressive.
It's a little chaotic right now because we're on book 3.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you guys are already on book 3.
Whoa, what? I thought it was just another one. Oh, wow. Okay.
No, well, we wanted to have first drafts of books 2 and 3 so that we could revise book 1, actually knowing what was going to happen, even though we're not going to revise those ones. So they're basically just 60,000 word synopses.
Nice.
So that we can effectively revise and it won't be super obvious that we pantsed everything.
Gosh.
But we'll see. We're going back to revise book 1 as soon as book 3 is finished. So
cool.
There's going to be a lot to change.
I haven't even started on book 2 of my other one. I've just not even barely outlined it. And you're like, book 3!
It goes so much faster when there's 2 of you. It's if I take a whole week off of writing, Kyra still has her chapters she writes.
Ugh, I really want to do it. The more you guys talk about it, the more I want to write with somebody else. It sounds like so much fun. I've never done that before.
So fun. I love it.
Want to do that.
Yeah. It's the best. But it makes writing a solo project feel more daunting because it's oh, I have to write one character by myself who can take up equally as many words.
Sounds like after like writing with a second person, it being sort of like a party, you just go back to one and be like, "This is boring." To myself writing, what the heck is this?
I'm like, wait, I'm not creative. What if Kyra's the creative one? I need to just sit down and plot is the problem. I need to like just take the time to do it, and I don't want to.
See, I sometimes like if I find myself stuck that way, it's almost always because I haven't plotted out enough or like the plot's not working. So I'll just like even plotting the next couple chapters.
Yeah.
I don't want to plot anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'll have to start with, I think. Just what's going to be in the next chapter.
I do suspect it's because you and Kyra are enjoying the heck out of each other. Like, I really do. I know you guys were working on, you like even said, you're like, we're not going to do this one for a while. And then you're like sneaking chapters of it to each other. Like, I know what's going on here.
Yes. Yeah. Because of co-authoring, we've reached the elusive like double pink heart friendship on Snapchat. So now our friendship
I did not
is
even
real.
know that was a thing.
I know, me neither.
It's when you've been like best friends on Snapchat for 3 months. So like you haven't snapped anyone more than that person for 3 months.
Oh, okay. You're not real friends until you're double hearts.
Double hearts on Snapchat.
Okay.
Yeah.
What has my generation come to?
I like really bungled it a couple times by Snapchatting like my husband and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Like, sorry, honey, I can't send you pictures of our dog while you're at work anymore. I have to Snapchat Kyra.
Our friendship depends on the double heart.
Yeah.
Oh, the youths these days.
Right.
I don't get Snapchat. I'm too old and grouchy for this.
Well, I guess we'll just start our first sprint in 1 minute. We've kind of been easing into it for a while.
Yeah.
Good.
So I have a prompt. You can use it if you want. You don't have to. It's just there if you need something to kind of get your creative juices flowing. So for this sprint, your character is trying to sell something to someone. And 1 minute has passed, so it's going to be a 20-minute sprint. We're going to check in at 10 after the hour, and good luck. In time.
Emma's here, yay!
Huzzah!
You have a very Jess from New Girl look going on. I like it.
Oh, she does, yeah. Oh.
There you go.
How did everyone do?
Eh.
That's always a good noise.
Yeah. So expressive in that one noise. I did 184 words, but I was also researching a little bit, so decent.
Right on. I got 212, so really similar to you. And I had to read the chapter Kyra had just finished to get caught up.
Makes sense. I spent a good amount of the first few minutes trying to figure out when it becomes like this time of day for me, my computer turns into this like horrible glaring thing that like burns your retinas.
Oh.
So I had to figure out like how to put the lower light on the computer. So I'm still struggling to figure that out. But then I'm also just reading for revisions right now. So it just looks like me sitting there with like a cup of coffee in my hands. Like,
oh yeah, I wanted to say I like your mug.
oh, thank you. Yeah.
What does this one say?
Dad.
Hey, Dad. Bless. You got that from chapters. I know that.
I did get it from chapters. You are correct.
Yes, because I've been staring at it for a couple weeks now.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of them. A couple of them that I can't remember what the other one said, but I like the other ones too. Something about boss or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, now I guess as parents now you get to get all the mom and dad themed stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta have some kind of like badge of honor for that. Like,
yeah,
I listen to screaming all day. Here's your coffee mug.
Yeah. 4 days, but check out this mug.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Worth it.
It has to be bigger though, because it needs to hold way more coffee than this.
We've got people sharing their word counts in the discussion section. It looks like you guys did so great. We've got a really wide array of words, some people editing. We did have a question before we started the sprint from Layla. I started my book and I love this story, but I'm really struggling because it's about a developing relationship and I'm having a hard time portraying that. Any advice?
Hmm.
General relationship development advice.
I feel like I struggle with this myself, so I don't know if I'm.
Well, like all y'all are married, so.
Read some books and great yeah, but I don't have to depict that on the page.
I didn't have to pace my relationship in a realistic.
Yeah, like realistically. I'm afraid my relationship is paced unrealistically and too insta-lovey. Yeah, there's no one critiquing that, luckily. So
Thank goodness. Well, my parents were at the time.
I give your relationship 1 star, Megan.
Yeah.
Could you work on that, please?
I'm currently like thinking about this with my revisions because that's like one of the things I know that I need to like make more smooth, at least, is like the arc of the relationship. So like I'm kind of just treating it the way I would treat like any like other plot that's in the book, is like kind of like mapping out like where you want them to be at different points of the book. Like, where are they like starting? Where are they going? Like, is it starting from like they hate each other at the beginning, or do they like each other at the beginning? And figuring out like what the obstacles are in the way. So it should be the same thing as like any other like goal or like plot thread that's in your book.
I think there should be at some point something that forces them to become closer together. And I'm trying to think of like how to phrase this, but like the way that I think of it is like, you know, you're going along and like nothing's ever going to happen unless something like is thrown in there, kind of thing. So it could either be like one of them accidentally overshares something, or one of them, you know, gets into an accident and like the other person's their emergency contact and they like, you know, need to like go help them or something. Like something big kind of has to happen while they're like not there yet, almost, if that makes sense.
The classic staying at a hotel and there's only one room.
Oh my god,
one bed.
Guilty of that.
Oh no, there's only one bed.
Apparently all hotels in America only have one bed. Like
one available hotel room with one bed.
Yeah, of course.
And the floor looks really dirty, so you can't sleep on the floor.
Yeah, obviously. And the bathtub is gross, so don't even go there.
Yeah. Don't even try it.
No.
And oh no, the heat has gone out and they need to share body warmth.
I mean, like, yes, but I don't necessarily need those things.
Yeah, and definitely, like, this is something that will probably be uneven in a first draft, and you can always go back and smooth it out more. But keeping an eye out for small things, making sure that there are moments when, like, if they aren't besties from the beginning or whatever, that they have moments where they sort of become friends, or like they're forced to trust each other. So like you start to see how they would be together aside from banter, because banter is cute, but like banter doesn't make a relationship. But you can totally do it.
And finding to like tie into like the character's like past and personality too, because that'll like make it even stronger. So like if there's like something they have a hang up over, maybe like the like love interest helps them deal with that in some way, something like that.
We have a question in a similar vein to this one. Let's say we're going to do the next sprint in 3 minutes at the 20.
Sure.
But this question from Words Fall, what do you do when you love the book that you're writing, but you hear that it is cliche? For example, I'm doing a bad boy romance and the bad boy falls in love with a good girl, which is not like cliche necessarily, but definitely a more common trope. Yeah.
I think it's like everyone, like people like that. Like they're cliches for a reason because everyone's written them because they like them. So like if you like the story, then like go for it.
And definitely like see if you can find ways to put a fresh like take on it or a fresh spin on it, because there are a lot of books that have that. So make sure you like are familiar with them and like what the like typical trope is for those stories, and see if you can like twist expectations or do something different with it.
Yeah, I think especially with the cliche that's like that widely used, you definitely have to do something different, like turn it on its head. Think of something that you haven't seen before in those types of books, because yeah, if I do write like a relationship like that, it definitely has to be something different about it, because yeah, it's very it's well loved, but it's very widely used. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We had a really good comment in the discussion section from Jennifer Daniels. Any short blurb can come across as cliche. It's the details in the story that make it not cliche.
Yeah, so add details that aren't cliche.
Yeah.
And also, like, how well it works will depend on, like, what the other plots of the book are. Like, if that's not the focus of the book, like, if there's other things going on that are original enough and, like, interesting enough, then people will care less about, like, the romance being
True.
a trope.
Yeah.
So,
True.
hopefully the romance is not, like, the only thing in your book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if it is like the romance is the main thing, if you have it in a unique setting, or that's the biggest one, I guess, a unique setting.
Well, I mean, like, if I see, like, you know, oh, a bad boy romance set in, like, Chicago, I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. But if I hear, like, a bad boy romance set on, like, the moon, I'm like, okay, like, let's
Wait
do
for
it.
that.
Like, okay, that sounds
Zero
great.
gravity romance.
Zero, exactly.
Yeah. Or like bad boy romance at Comic-Con or something.
Oh my gosh,
Or
Or the bad boy is like the star of Comic-Con or something. Like that is
Yes.
different, you know, like he is, you know, to other people, not necessarily a bad boy. He'd probably be like a giant geek to like people that didn't like comics. But in your world, he's the hot bad boy. You know, like that type of stuff is the type that I would read that blurb and be like, heck yes, put that book in my hands now. Yeah, exactly.
Great.
Yeah. So it's time. We're going to sprint for 20 more minutes. So check-in will be at the 40. Your prompt, should you choose to use one, is that your character is feeling guilty about something. I will put that in the discussion section so you have it. And good luck. time.
I feel like I've been like holding my breath the whole time, and I'm like, oh, okay, phew.
Yeah.
Like breathe, I can breathe. I feel like that when I'm filming these videos. Every time I'm like talking, in between takes, I'm like, I was like, relax, everything's fine. You can edit this.
When you're like trying to say too much and you like totally run out of breath by the end of the realize you like haven't been breathing while talking.
Oh my gosh, that's my problem too, filming like the main WordNerd videos. I'm like, I play it back and catch myself saying so many times. I just noticed that I do this, so I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna cut out every
I've gotten so much better about it. I know when we like first started the channel, I would say so much, and then I would have to edit out like all of them or like
So
most
frustrating.
of them. There were so many, but I've gotten a lot better. I don't do it as much.
Even when I
It took
script
a long
out
time.
one, I don't know. I do it
a
so
long
bad.
time to like break the habit of saying it so much.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just all over the slide chat. Me just going,
If I had
Okay, Erin,
hours
who you
of
really
free
are.
time, I would just make a compilation of it.
No.
You are
Dude,
lucky I
no.
don't have that much free
That would
time.
have been really fun.
I'm glad you don't, because that'd be horrible. That would make me twitch so much.
I feel like I could never show my face on the internet again.
No.
I feel more okay about it in the live chats. 'Cause it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
we
it's who
just
we
have
really
to fill
are.
the quiet space. We're live.
I think we get a little bit more of a pass for that, because it's not like you can think about what you're going to say or like script out the live chat in advance.
Oh, wait, you don't?
Oh, you? Oh, whoops.
I've scripted out our entire friendship.
I did not get the notes for that. So if I mess up
Can you
my
please
lines,
resend them?
that's why.
Oh, so how did you guys do in that sprint?
I got super distracted.
I did much better.
I got distracted too because I've been writing solely to the Harry Potter soundtracks lately, and there's 7 of them, so it's like endless amounts. But I'm like, I get really distracted jamming out to like the really happy ones,
Jamming out.
the Weasley Stomp one, and like I really like Umbridge's song too. So I get super distracted. I'm like, oh, this makes me so happy, and then I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to be actually working.
Yeah, I think like 8:30 hit, and I opened up a new tab and just like sat there. Like if you go back in the chat, you can probably see it. I was like, I want to type in Facebook, but I'm not going to. I got 419 words finished up my chapter, so
Nice.
huzzah.
Yay! I got 256, but I decided to add 2 more characters, so I'm very excited to like writing about them.
Nice.
So, which is write a little bit more.
I'm figuring out how to condense 2 scenes into one.
That's always fun.
That's the worst.
No. Then you like cut out a bunch, and then you're like, how much do I have to put back in so it makes actual sense?
So then you read through it, you make sure half of it doesn't make sense because like you skipped over a whole section that you thought you didn't need, but you did. And,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
I always feel like a wizard when I'm doing that, though. Like, I am a real writer. Look at me.
I was like a wizard, like abracadabra, because how's that?
Yeah.
Try to explain that to me. I do not feel like a wizard. I feel angry and bitter that I have to do this.
I get like
An angry and bitter
that
wizard.
weird pride. Like,
After it's all done and I read it over and it makes actual sense, then I get that feeling. Not while I'm doing it. While I'm doing it, I feel like somebody who's been tossed into an operating room and told to do brain surgery with no prior training.
I love it though. I like stare at it for 20 minutes, have no clue what I'm doing, but then it's like I am doing real writing. I deserve a cookie. And I just go get a cookie.
Oh, there's cookies involved.
Yeah.
That's why you like it.
It's
There's
great.
There's no
Oh,
cookies
now I want a
involved.
cookie.
Process.
Well, that was mean, Megan.
I have a cookie.
No!
I ate half of it during that sprint.
What kind of cookie is it?
It's a
Tell me.
chocolate-covered Nutter Butter.
Ooh.
There's this like chocolatier in my hometown, and I was in my hometown last
Ooh.
week and stopped by and picked them up, and they're so good.
That sounds
Interesting.
amazing.
I'm trying to
I
make
was
it
so-
last and failing.
I was so crushed today because I've been exercising this amazing amount of self-control with the Easter chocolate I got. And it's been how long since Easter? I don't know, forever. And it's just been sitting there. And I was like, I will eat carrot sticks up until, and then I went to see The Quiet Place today. And I'm like, I'm going to take my Easter bunnies with me. And I tried one, like I just nibbled the ear, and it was not good chocolate.
No!
Oh, no.
That was me, like the Luke Skywalker, no!
That's so disappointing.
For so long.
Aaron just
Oh,
starts
no.
screaming in the middle of a quiet place.
Everyone's like, oh my god, what's her problem?
It's a good thing I did test it before, because it would have been like wrinkle as I unwrapped it, and then
Yeah, I saw A Quiet Place today as well, and like, yeah, it was like every time I would like get a handful of popcorn and be like, rustle, rustle, rustle.
I know, and you're like, are the people beside me gonna beat me to death? Like if I make this much noise,
You could like hear like every munch of the popcorn.
I was like, wait for a loud part, crunch, 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 crunch. It's quiet again.
Also, yes, it's very good. So
It's so good. Oh my gosh. So many times where I like had to like literally clap my hands over my mouth so I wouldn't go in like the middle of the silent theater.
For like the second half, every time they walk down the stairs into the basement. You know what I'm talking about, right? Every time
Yes.
they like run down the stairs, I'm like,
No, I was like tense through the whole thing. I'm like, if I make any noise, if I crunch my popcorn, I'm gonna die. Like you're in the movie, and if you make any noise, those things are gonna get you. It's so good. But not if you have like a heart condition or something. Don't go if you can't be startled. Somebody had their Fitbit online, and they're like, my Fitbit thinks I took like a 2-hour jog. That movie. Seriously.
Wow.
Your heart rate does go up. It was pretty intense.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was good.
How to hack a Fitbit.
You're like, you see, you did some cardio today.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
Yep, watch a scary movie. Scary movies now count as cardio.
I like it.
Yeah, good.
Ah.
So it's getting a little late. Do we want to do another full 20-minute sprint, or do we want to do like a 10 or 15-minute one for the last one? How are you guys feeling?
Let's do a 10 or 15.
Yeah.
15?
Let's do 15 for our last sprint, and we'll do it in 2 minutes. If I missed your question, I apologize. I did not do it on purpose. Please re-ask it, and we will answer it after our final sprint of the evening, which is going to be a 15-minute sprint going from the 50 to 5 after the hour. We have prompts. You don't have to use them, but if you want to have your character witness a funeral.
Oh, that's going to happen in my scene.
And I worked out, I saw people talking in the discussion section too about whether or not to kill a character, and I was like, "Ha, my last prompt."
Oh, there you go.
Now you have
Perfect.
your answer. That would be yes. Kill them all.
But we got 1 minute, so fill the space with all the ums.
A compilation. That is a minute-long compilation.
I'm gonna be so self-conscious whenever I like talk to Megan. I can't say at all. She'll know.
She'll know. Just gonna keep tallies. Lose all my friends. I don't know how many times I say
It's the end of the month and you email me. 525. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Aaron's like, didn't you just have a baby?
Oh dear.
We know where Megan's priorities lie now.
It's pretty important, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Judging people is my top priority.
Some people have to have
Same,
hobbies.
same.
Okay?
Yeah.
Not of collecting stamps, so
All right, it's the 50.
It is the 50, so check in at the 5. This is our last sprint. Good luck. time.
My computer is still burning my eyes out of my head. It's so annoying. I cannot find for the life of me the like screen brightness adjuster. I've never had this problem before ever. Like it's right there under settings on my laptop, but like I cannot find it on this computer for some reason. Ugh. My eyeballs.
Is it like a desktop screen?
It's actually like totally fine if I'm on like YouTube and stuff. Like I can look at you guys without my eyeballs burning out, but like on Word is
like
when
white
it's a problem.
screen.
It's like white in your face.
Yeah.
So yeah, the read mode is a little less glaring, but still frustrating. I don't know.
How did that sprint go for y'all?
That's all right.
It's all right. Did about 260-ish words.
Right on.
Yeah.
What about you, Megan?
I just did work for my day job.
Nice.
Because I finished my chapter and I thought about maybe plotting, but then my computer is being really weird and wouldn't let me open Evernote. And so it's like, well, I guess that's a sign.
You're done for the day, according to your computer.
Yeah.
It does. Mine does that sometimes where it's like, it just is like, I'll click on Word and it'll be like, nah, I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Like, okay. What are you doing, computer?
Yeah, I realized it won't let me connect to like half of the websites that I usually go on, including Evernote.
That's
It's
weird.
like, we can't get the IP address, so I'll have to restart it or something once we're off. But not now because we're live.
We have technological shenanigans.
Yes.
Yeah.
In this case, it's true because the computers are the ones that are causing shenanigans.
Yes. Sometimes it's our problems, but in this case. It's usually us not being able to figure out the technology, I feel like.
Yeah.
I know that's a lot of the time.
We had some questions. Well, we've got people sharing their word counts in the discussion section. You guys are doing amazing. We had a question from, where did it go? Terrell. What's your favorite YA contemporary featuring a main character with a mental illness?
Under Rose-Tainted Skies by Louise Gornell.
So good.
Yes, the main character has OCD and agoraphobia, and it was great.
And it is an own voices book. The author also has OCD and agoraphobia. So
Yes, although as someone with anxiety, it was really awful to read.
yeah, sometimes it's really
It was so anxiety producing, but it was still really good. What else is on my shelf?
Damsel Distressed by Kelsey Mackey.
Yes.
It's great.
Ooh, I haven't read that one yet.
Adorable.
So good.
It was one of our book clubs a very, very long time ago.
Okay. I think I remember that. That's how I knew about it, was because of the WordNerds before I joined you guys.
It's so good.
Also, All the Bright Places, because one of the main characters has depression. I think it's really good. Oh, and I just finished reading it. Everything Beautiful is Not Ruined. Oh my gosh. Who writes it? Danielle Young something. It's like a hyphenated last name. That was a fantastic book because one of the character's mother has depression, and the way that she handles it really affects the main character, and it was a fantastic book.
It's funny because I think about it, and I can't think of any recent ones because I've just been on a sort of like a fantasy thing. That's normal for me, but like the last 10 or 20 books I've read have all been fantasy, and it might just be me, but I can't think of a fantasy book where the character has a mental illness. Like they're all really kind of almost issues books or contemporary books. Like I want to see more of that in actual like science fiction and fantasy and even like a crime or mystery or whatever, like anything that's not an issues book, right? There probably is. I just don't know about them.
I know Winter Song, the main character has bipolar depression, which
that's right.
Has. So I think that one.
I know sometimes for authors, like, because I've been doing this, like I'm literally writing a fantasy right now with someone who has anxiety, and it is hard to kind of like weave it into your story sometimes, so it's not like taking away from the main plot, but I feel like it can be done, and like I wish there were more of them.
Yeah, same. I wish there were tons more.
I feel like my anxiety is not the main plot of my life. So.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well said, actually. That's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I wish that people would do that more often. I don't know. I don't really see it as much as I'd like to. It's kind of like the LGBT thing too. Like there's not as many gay characters as I want to see, except for in books where that's like the main plot. Like I am gay and the plot about me being gay. And I'm like, really? Because I would like those books, but I would like to see way more books where it's the character's identity, part of their identity, but then they're also doing all these amazing things.
Yeah, like what if we combined, like what would happen if Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda was set in the world of like Throne of Glass or something? Like that would be super amazing. Cool, and I would totally read that.
Can someone please do that? Because that's all I want in life now that Rachel has it.
I'll try.
Yes, please.
Simon versus with magic.
Yes, well, I'd be like, okay, done. I'll read that.
That would be amazing.
If someone pitched that to me, I'd be like, done, 100%. Yeah, will do.
I do feel like there is some like mental illness that comes up in fantasy and sci-fi, but also a lot of times it's not as noticeable because one, it's not the main plot, and also because, especially in fantasy, they don't always have like names for it like we do. So like the character's not like, I have anxiety, you know, like. But like it's there, like I don't know, sometimes just like reading certain characters, I'm like, I see elements of what I deal with in this character, you know. Or like a lot of times like PTSD will come up in
I was gonna say most of it's PTSD because it's just like, oh, so and so fought in this battle and now, you know, they don't like fighting, and you're like, okay, well
there's definitely a lot of PTSD, but I'd like to see some you know, that branch out into some other different stuff that's like maybe you don't have that because you were in this terrible, you know, everyone killed your family. Maybe you just have it because you were born with it, you know, and you've been dealing with it all your life, you know. I want to see more of that. So,
we had another question from N. Griswold. Some of my symbolism is starting to feel a bit heavy-handed. Do you have a litmus test to determine if you're slapping your reader with symbolism versus a clever nod or wink for them to notice?
I like to club my readers over the head with symbolism. Whack. Do you get this? Whack.
Did you see how clever I am?
I like to have my characters say, so.
I would say beta readers are often a good indication of if you've pulled it off or not.
And like, don't be afraid, like after you've had someone read something, to ask them, like, did you get this? Did you think this was too obvious? Because like Erin did that recently. Megan and I beta read something for us, and like we like actually like sat and talked about like questions she had for us. So that like, don't be afraid to do that after someone's. I would say don't say it beforehand. Don't be like, let me know if this is too obvious, because they'll know to be looking for it. Like, you could totally like send them an email or something and just be like, hey, I wanted to know about this.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Because like what I did with Megan and Emma after they read the witch story that I'm working on, that I was working on tonight, like was so incredibly helpful, because a lot of the time you do think you're being super obvious, and then you're like, did you get that? Like, did that come through in the writing? And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, okay. I thought that I was beating the reader over the head with it, but like, because I know what's going on, but the reader doesn't, so they're not necessarily going to pick up on it. So it seems like, and I know I am either way too obvious, or like I think it's way too obvious and it's not at all. So you really do need to get someone else to read that and be like, well, you know, I did see it or I didn't see it, or like maybe add this to it or that type of thing. That's really, really helpful.
For sure. We've been going for a while, so I'll probably have that one be our last one for the evening. I apologize if we did not have time to get to your question tonight. Thank you so much for being here and for commenting. We absolutely love having you guys here. We will be back next week with our final write-in of Camp NaNoWriMo. There is another week in April, but it's our book club. So a reminder, this is your 2-week notice for book club. We are reading the first book in V.E. Schwab's Shades of London trilogy.
A Darker Shade of Magic.
Yes, A Darker Shade of Magic. I was like, oh no, they're all mixing up. So we are reading A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, and it's a quick read. You've got plenty of time to read it still, so you can chat about it with us in 2 weeks. But again, we'll be back here next week for another write-in to write all the words. Does anyone have any final thoughts?
I don't think so.
I think I'm good.
All right.
I'm getting a lot of stuff done with these write-ins. It's good.
Yay. Yeah. All right. We will see you guys with daily videos and live again next week. Bye.